Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video, as you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking all about extensions. And honestly, I think extensions, even just in the last 2 years, have really evolved, so I figured it was time for an updated video. So in today's video, we are going to be going over reasons to get extensions and basically what extensions can enhance, and it's not just for length. We're going to be going over hair type matching. If you've ever had extensions that you didn't like, it's most likely because it didn't fit either your hair type, texture. It really needs to suit and fit the hair you already have rather than trying to manipulate your hair to the extensions that you get. And of course, most importantly, we're going to be going over application methods. All right, so let's just get into the first category, which is reasons for getting extensions. And obviously the first one is the obvious, which is length. If you want to add length to your hair, obviously extensions are great for that. But I feel like we all know that already. Another reason could just be to give you volume. So say you don't want your hair to look any longer, but you have really wispy ends and you really want to kind of fill out that line, you can absolutely add extensions for that reason alone. And then for the last reason, that would be for color enhancing. And I think when I say that, people imagine a pop of blue or red or something more crazy kind of in the hair. And that doesn't at all have to be the case. So say you've been lightening your hair and you're really just going after that bright buttery blonde and you can't achieve it. A great way is to add pops of extensions with that color that is still going to blend beautifully with the color that you already have, but it's going to enhance it. A few pops of color with extensions can give you that kind of effect that you're after without completely changing your color or further drying or damaging your hair. All right, so the next category is hair type matching. And this is an area that I feel like there isn't enough kind of information on, and hopefully your extensionist or hairdresser is really experienced and really takes this into consideration when, doing a consultation. You can get extensions that will naturally dry wavy. You can also get just really smooth, sleek, shiny hair if that's your natural hair type. So I've definitely played around with different brands and types to find my perfect match. For me personally, if we're talking about actual specific brands, a mixture of hothead extensions with the hair shop to me I feel like the hair shop extensions have a little bit more of a texture to them, whereas hotheads I think have much more of that smooth, sleek kind of a finish to them. So for me, mixing both of those has been a really good match for my texture. Another thing when matching to your hair type is also looking at the density of your hair. So say you have finer hair, but you have a lot of it. The actual diameter of your ponytail should determine the amount or the ounces of extensions that you actually put in your hair. So someone with much thicker, more coarse hair will need a lot more hair to kind of fill out the bottom so that it meets and matches kind of that density that you have in the middle. So for someone that has more fine hair or doesn't have a ton of hair, you will need a lot less extensions. And this is something that I actually see done kind of the opposite. Someone with a lot finer hair will have a ton of extensions to kind of give you that fullness that you've been craving. But I always think that you can tell from a mile away. And I personally think it's very important to honor your natural hair type and texture when it comes to extensions. It is okay to add extensions to give you more volume, but you never want to look like you have a completely different head of hair than you naturally would. All right, now let's talk extension application methods. And I think this is maybe the area that you guys are most curious about. Anytime that I get questions on my channel about hair extensions, this is probably the area that I get the most questions in. So we've got our temporary extensions, which includes tape-ins, halos, or kind of hair pieces such as a ponytail or a bangs clip-on. And then we've got our more permanent solutions, which include the tape-ins, fusion bonds, and then the sew-ins and the hand-tied wefts. So for the temporary, obviously, if you are just new to extensions, you kind of want to try it out, I think temporary is a great way to start. Clip-ins can be so easy to apply, and they give you a little bit more control of where to apply them. If you are more inexperienced and you just want something that you can just put on and it's going to look great with very minimal effort, I recommend a halo. And what that is all the hair that you'll be wearing is all attached to one piece. You basically apply it like a headband and you've got your volume and inches of line. By the way, this video is in no way sponsored, but I will include links to kind of my favorite shops where you can find great clip-ins and halo extensions, basically all of the more temporary versions of extensions. I will leave them down below. And then moving into our more permanent extensions, which are the tape-ins, the fusion, the sew-ins, and the hand-tied wefts. And people always ask, like, what's the best extension? And there isn't a best, because if there were, then there would only be one type. There are better extension types for different reasons, because there's basically pros and cons to all methods. So for the tape-ins, for example, the pro to them would be that they're super easy to install, quick install, feel like they are one of the most comfortable. And I would say if applied correctly, they probably pose some of the least damage to the hair. Then we have the fusion bonded extensions, and that's where the extensions have almost like a little waxy tip that gets melted onto your hair. The cons to this one is that it takes a lot more time to get them installed. Once they are in, they have a lot more natural movement, more than tape-ins. The reason for that is because you apply it in smaller kind of sections, so the hair moves way more naturally as opposed to kind of an inch wide piece of hair. The other pro to the fusion is that they can grow out so much longer than tape-ins can before they become annoying. So with tape-in extensions, as they grow out, they can kind of start twirling all over the place, and A, it can be uncomfortable, and B, they can really tangle at the root. Whereas with the fusion, because it's less hair attached to that extension, it just ends up growing and definitely doesn't tangle as much because it's small enough to where if it were to move around, it doesn't really make a big difference. Then we have our hand-tied wefts and our sew-ins. Now, I personally think that this is one of the best ways to add length and volume without weighing too much on your natural hair. Meaning, I think this is probably one of the best, healthiest ways to add extensions to your hair. I feel like most celebrities have this application method. It's a whole weft that's sewn onto the base of your hair. So that's not going to kind of flip around and move kind of the way that tape-ins do. It's also a very secure way of attaching to your hair. So basically that weft is not going to be going anywhere. And there's a lot more customization. So if you want to add, more than one row to the section, you can add more bulk, like sort of to the center of the hair instead of all over the head. To have that very balanced look, you kind of need to start a little bit higher with the tape-ins and apply several rows to really get that natural kind of filled in look. And if you're looking to order some extensions for yourself, I think one of the biggest questions is, how do I match the color? One of the best ways to do that is most brands will offer colorings, and I honestly think that even if you're not a hairdresser, it is a good idea to invest, because even if your hair color changes down the road and you want to change up, the color of your extensions, you have the swatches at home that you can kind of test out and be like, okay, I'm a 60 with a mix of 613. So I have all of my rings here. I have different ones for different brands. I have the rooted versus the solid colors. Another good thing too is you get to feel the texture. So like I mentioned, some brands are a lot silkier. Like I mentioned, the Hair Shop is a little bit more textured, like in a little bit, I would say almost thicker the diameter of the hair, which I feel like this hair just matches more my hair type. Typically, a hair swatch is probably between $15 and $30. And again, I highly suggest it if you haven't ordered extensions in the past. I feel like, to me, that is better insurance than buying it, it's not the right color, having to return it and all of that. All right, guys, so that is it for extensions. Also, for everyone still here at the end of the video, I wanted to let you in on a little secret, something that we have been working for basically all of last year. But yeah, I've been approached to collaborate or to create my own hair products, to do merch, which personally, to me, that just like makes me cringe a little bit because I'm not a pop star. So I just feel like merch is just so silly for me and my brand and my channel. I just don't feel like it makes sense. And I personally don't want to create something that is just going to make me money. I feel like if I create something, I honestly have to feel like you guys are going to be better with this than without. And with my channel, my whole focus as a hairdresser has always been to focus on the client. I feel like in my industry, it is very normal for hairdressers to focus on other hairdressers. So, teaching master classes to other hairdressers, almost maybe competing with other hairdressers. And for me, like, my focus has always been the client, not other hairdressers. And so the more I thought of that, I was like, that's what I need to do. And so in my deep diving of what can I give you guys that is more in depth than what I give you here on YouTube, that is going to actually truly be of value to you. So what we've been working on is a beauty masterclass on everything that is going to enhance your beauty, your confidence from everything from within to the exterior. I've always said on my channel, the way I film, the way I think of content is always, I pretend that I'm talking to a handful of best friends, and that makes me a lot more comfortable to speak in front of a camera. And B, I feel like it gives me more this connection with you guys and a transparency of what I want to give you. We're hoping that these classes are going to be available in the fall this year. I really want to create an elevated experience for you. We have scouted a beautiful location in order to film this content for you. It is going to be exclusive content. You would have to pay for the course, but once you pay for it, you have it forever. So my idea with this is that this would be something that keeps on giving. Knowledge is the only thing that will stay with you forever. I feel like when I give someone a $400 color appointment, regardless of how good it is, it will grow out, it will fade, you will need another appointment. And I felt this way, this is something that I can give you that hopefully will bring you value for the rest of your life. So I'm not going to get choked up. This is basically like my baby that I've been working on for so long, and makes me really emotional and really, really excited to finally bring you something that is so genuine to me and hopefully really resonates with you and of course teaches you something. So please down below, let me know if you're excited for this. Let me know if this is something that you would be interested in. And just know that I will be crowdsourcing and asking you guys what you guys want, from this course. I already have a course structure, pretty set. But if there's something that maybe I haven't thought of, if there's anything that you guys would like me to include, please let me know. And as we move on with this process, I will absolutely be asking you guys for recommendations and your input, because obviously I'm building this for you. So anyway, thank you to everyone that is still here. It feels so good to finally mention this big secret. And yeah, I hope you all are having an amazing hair day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.